Welcome back. My name is Bailey. I am a organization enthusiast, a birth doula, childbirth educator, a mother, and just a general storyteller. I enjoy documenting our life, what our current season looks like for prosperity purposes. And so if any of the above interests you or your family from another state, hello, how are you doing? Miss you. Go ahead and check in whenever you'd like. If you want to hit the subscribe and share button, that would help me out. I have this pretty lofty goal of 100 subscribers this year, so we'll see how that goes. But what is it? A journey of 1,000 steps, or a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So here we go. Today I wanted to discuss just a handful of things. I thought we'd have a sit down video and kind of chat about what's been on my noggin lately. Let's get into it. All right, first and foremost, I was just about to put away some laundry and kind of clean up the house a little bit, and I decided to talk about, or break it into a topic of, there's these subcategories that I think are often overlooked. And it's funny enough, my dad called me the other day and was talking about these videos, and I don't think it was meaning to be insulting, but he said something to the effect of like, oh, instead of like folding laundry, because I think that's what he assumed a lot of my videos are, but it's more about creating organizational systems and a lifestyle that is simplified so that I can spend less time and energy on those things. That is when I happen to bring out the camera quite often, just because I'm usually alone, I have some quiet time, and I think to myself, oh yeah, I should start to document if I'm trying to make another video. But I wanted to say, the reason I'm so particular and like engrossed in the idea of organizational systems and engaged in like keeping things minimal and simplified is because I am someone with OCD. I have some obsessive tendencies, and that involves my environment a lot. I get easily overwhelmed. I get, like if too much is going on, I call it like being busy, but my brain feels, and if anyone else is out there and has this as well, please reach out, because I want to know I'm not the only one or some version of this. But visual clutter, or like an impending to-do list of too much, feels incredibly heavy and incredibly pressing, and it can be just overstimulating. It's kind of like the idea of being touched out, where everybody needs something from you, but that happens with my brain and our environment. I have a partner who understands this, and he works on it as well as I do to create a kind of a safe haven of simplified living, which I love. And it's still a progress. We are in progress. There's never a perfection. There's never a perfect moment. I want you to know that's just real life. And we've got 2 wonderful kids, so that's, you have to take into account these other elements that make up our home and the variables that reside inside of it. So it's always a work in progress, but it's something that I am continually striving for, to kind of help myself, help my family, and help my brain feel good about what's going on. So cleaning. There is a difference. I think these subgroups get lost off: cleaning, decluttering, organizing, and tidying. Cleaning is when you're actually, there's dust or dirt or debris, so vacuuming is cleaning, scrubbing off the counters is cleaning, toilets, wiping down the walls, anything that you're actually removing dirt, grime, dust. And then there is decluttering, which is going through items and making space for the things you truly love, and anything that's not serving you in this season, isn't giving you purpose, can be let go of, and hopefully someone else can get some use out of it, which always feels good when you donate instead of trash. I mean, sometimes there's just trash around the house, let's be honest. There's wrappers here or there, or something breaks, but most of the time decluttering just involves inner dialogue and conversation with yourself about what you want your life to look like, what you want your environment to feel like, and finding paths to those. Figure out what you need, what you use, and what's kind of just taking up space. So decluttering is its own separate entity. You've got tidying, which is this item I love and cherish and I'm gonna keep, I'm not gonna get rid of it, has a home, and this is its specified home, and maybe it gets use outside of that home, like a book, and it ends up off the bookshelf. But to tidy up would be taking that book and putting it back on the bookshelf. That is tidying. The cleaner out, then you're back to tidying and cleaning, so these 2 different subgroups. Organizing, which might sound like tidying, is when you decide a system is going to work for you and your family. For example, organizing smaller subgroups. So you know, putting things away in the fridge a specific way, or books in the bookshelf, movies if you have an entertainment system. I'm someone who loves movies, so I have a lot of movies. Anything that you're storing and you have a particular area for, so you might have to do some organization in your closet or your garage or your drawers or anything, your cleaning supplies. There's an organizational system that kind of encompasses those things in my mind. So yes, it might seem like a lot of what I post is me folding laundry or putting things away. There's this inner system, and it kind of keeps the house running, and it also keeps my compulsive brain in a place of constant progress, and that is what feels good. Even though it might seem redundant, I'm actually honing in on different elements of that umbrella, of that cleaning umbrella. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't make my dad feel bad. I love him very dearly. I know it was just like a flippant offhand comment, but it did get me thinking about this video. Like, I wonder if other people have the same mentality around like homemaking and homekeeping. I'd be curious to find out. So here we are. Anyway, that was the first thing I wanted to talk about and discuss. The second is more about these goals, and that was like the simplified living that I'm working really hard on. I think we have too much stuff. I think it's a very common problem is to have space, and we tend as people to want to fill that space. And maybe it's our brain trying to process pattern and include something. You know, we see an empty space, we think something has to go there. But it is very rewarding when you can look past this cycle of consumerism and take a step back and ask yourself a very simple question: are you satisfiable? This was posed to me not that long ago, and honestly, I've been on this minimalism journey for years. I think I was 16 the first time I started to realize, like, oh, there's a name for this. Very cool. Like, let's dive into learning more about it. So it's been a while, but this idea of are you satisfiable? Are you going through the motions? That is something very interesting to me, because I think for so long I really was just trying to figure out those things. I wasn't asking myself, like, why do I need this? Why do I want this? Do I have something else that could do this instead? And it's been such an interesting mental shift to go from I need this thing because it's going to solve this problem to really what's the root of that problem. So I would advise you just to try it out in your own home on the next, like, go to your Amazon or whatever, you know, website you're maybe purchasing something from, or your grocery list, even your shopping list, and look at the items on the list and ask yourself those questions. Instead of just I'm trying to solve this problem, go into it with a mind frame of why am I trying to do this, and is there an alternate route, and do I already have a solution that I'm not aware of? Just taking that extra beat and thinking about it can make all the difference in the world. So let me know. The perfect example I thought we could talk about is this coat closet, and I'm going to go through organizational steps and cleaning steps that kind of make up what I'm talking about. For example, I was just putting away this jacket and this beanie right here that were in our room that had just gone through the washer and were finished. So tidying up was me putting them back where they belong into their home. And then the cleaning element would be like me washing these. So before they were even in here, cleaning was this. Cleaning would also instill if I needed to, like, sweep up the floor and suck up any hair from that lovely pup over there that maybe got here. If there was, you know, a mess or anything I needed to wipe down, that would include the cleaning section. Tidying up, me putting things back where they belong in their proper home. And then decluttering would be if this was already done, my stuff was where I assumed it was, back in its place, and I decided I actually want less in here, which we actually just did a giant declutter of this closet. It was very full. I know this looks full, but it was even more full. There was stuff that would constantly be on the floor. We had tried to store other things in here that just were taking up way too much space, and we wanted to clean it up and simplify it and get it to a place where there was less and it wasn't overflowing, which is, you know, hallway closet, common problem. It's so easy to close the door and just forget about what's in there. So it's one of those things that when you tackle it, it feels so fresh. Now even we open this up and there's floor room, which feels amazing. We talked about tidying, we talked about cleaning. Now decluttering would be going through and anything that we are not going to use Anything that's no longer serving us or is in bad condition, broken, etc., will be, you know, taken, plucked out, and then we are left with the things we use, the things we love. So that's decluttering. To me, organizing would probably be a couple of things for this example. One would be if I decided to organize by color. Maybe I'd have, you know, white to blue to tan to black. Maybe it would include that, and then also anything for the baby in one corner, because that'd be an organizational system. Another example would be these bins are a perfect one. Actually, this doesn't belong in here, so this can be decluttering. Just put that away for a minute. We've got these bins. This is an organizational system. We had a need. We had, you know, hats and different winter gear and paraphernalia, and they were kind of just thrown up top, but I knew that I wanted something that we could separate out so we'd know where everything lived. So we've got Jordan's beanies, we've got my beanies, we've got accessories, so we've got like running belts. I think there's also there's a backup scarf, and then these are my scarves. So that's an organizational system. And then over here we just have a backup drill and massage gun. So we don't use them a ton, but they're there. And then this part isn't really related to anything, but I keep my ornaments up here. I think we have a sleeping bag and a ukulele. So again, average things we do use, we get to, but maybe not constantly. Another example of an organizational system is I installed these hooks for our bags, and I wanted to save us space. I didn't want them just to be sitting on the floor, and so I decided to go up with some vertical space, and I included hooks for all of our extra backpacks. I hope that helped kind of break down a real life example of different elements of cleaning and organization, all the good bits. But just know there of course is some overlap. I think that's normal. It's easy to say, oh, I'm gonna be cleaning today, I'm decluttering, I'm organizing, but there's different parts to it. So that is my example of a system in place that has all the elements that we discussed. It's got tidying, cleaning, organizing, and decluttering in a real world example of a simple thing in the home. But there are a lot of elements to it. So take that and times, you know, your entire abode, and you can see how that can become very overwhelming, especially if you have any kind of OCD or ADHD, anything like that. It can feel like an uphill battle. Just know you're not alone in that mentality, and that by taking those steps and identifying where to begin, you'll have an easier journey getting to your destination of, okay, less to maintain, less to store, less to keep track of, in a simple, I think more livable kind of situation. I would declutter first, or I would tidy up first. Those would be my two first steps. Tidying up would be putting everything back, not necessarily going through any of it yet, unless you really need to do that. But if your house is in a state of just too full, maybe start with the tidy, so everything goes home where it should, and then the declutter of, I know I want this to live in this general vicinity, the closet, the bookshelf, etc., but I want less of it, and then it becomes very easy to declutter. A lot of methods talk about this as well, where they'll say like, okay, put all of your books in one area, all of your coats, then you can see the sheer volume you have, which can be quite an eye-opener, because if things are kind of spread throughout the house, it's not as easy to like visualize that you have too much, even if you kind of know in your heart of hearts that it feels like too much. So that is my take on it, my 2 cents. Let me know if any of these tips resonate with you, work for you, and let me know if you need any help with it. I'd love to, you know, dole out some advice. My favorite thing in the world is probably making organized systems. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day.